I'm hearing a lot more noise from a tool called Framer. Now, if you don't know what Framer is, the best way I could probably sum it up from my understanding is having a tool like Figma, which allows you to design a UI or a website, but being able to put that directly live. So let's call it a sophisticated Figma. Now, I've tried Framer in the past, and honestly, I didn't really get on with it. I thought it was a little bit clunky, a little bit too basic, and I'll be honest, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Okay, so I haven't really given it too much time, but since I signed up originally around 18 months ago, I've received all of their newsletters and upcoming releases, and they've just announced a new full release, which I'm going to talk about today because actually, I think for the first time, it's caught my attention. And I've spoken about other tools in the past. Primarily, I'm a WordPress user. I absolutely love Elementor, but there are tons of other tools appearing in the market, and the competition's becoming, let's say, a lot more competitive. I've spoken about Webflow before. I've even considered switching from WordPress to Webflow, but with the growth of Elementor, I never really needed to. Now, Framer looks as if it's taking, I'd probably say, a portion of the Webflow market or the Webflow community, and they're jumping ship and they're moving over to Framer because it's releasing some really cool shit. So Framer recently made some updates allowing you to have more form capabilities, additional text effects, and some CMS upgrades. But they have just announced a new full update, which includes some really cool things. Two main things that I took away from this. One is the use of plugins. Now, as a WordPress user, plugins are, they're kind of a blessing and a curse, but they are super valuable in being able to extend the functionality. And it looks like you're now going to be able to do that in Framer. And two is the CMS capabilities. So I want to take a look at the video with you. And I think, many of you watching this are probably, I imagine, WordPress users, Elementor users, and maybe you're interested in Framer. And if you haven't seen this yet, let me show you and let me talk to you why I think it's going to be actually perhaps a game changer for the whole web design space.
Welcome to the Framer Fall event. Today, we're going to dive into our most exciting release of the year, which says a lot because it's been a big year of shipping features that help designers build incredible sites in an interface.
Just in that snippet alone, you could see how many recent releases that they've updated. And I can see, I think I just caught a glimpse. It was things like masking. Can I skip back?
Year of shipping features.
So canvas updates,
help designers
masking,
build incredible
site performance, and
an interface that's familiar and easy to use. We're also going to catch up on some of the biggest features we've shipped since our spring event to make sure you're getting as much out of Framer as you can. And of course, stick around till the end for exclusive free fall event swag and a very special announcement that could just put a lot of money in your pocket. Now, let's take a look at some of the most important releases since our last event that you need to know about. We now offer native forms in Framer with over 10 input types and a fully custom freeform editing.
What's super interesting is that this wasn't there in the beginning. I feel like the forms is a really basic level of functionality that should be with a web builder. They do, I think, go on to explain some of its more intricate functionality, but I would have said forms needed to be there from the get-go.
Experience, plus secure data handling through email, Google Sheets, or webhooks. This means that you can build forms that look and work exactly how you want, faster and easier than ever before. You can now take your text animations even further with built-in text effects in Framer, giving you incredible levels of control.
That's cool. I would say that's cool, but we can do that in Elementor already. But it looks as if just looking at that snippet there, maybe there's way more effects available within Framer and perhaps giving you a little bit more flexibility than it would do with Elementor. Now, I haven't gone in and tested this yet, and it's probably something that I'm going to look to do, maybe even later today or this week, because it's definitely got my attention. But yeah, that looks pretty cool.
Real-time previews, enabling captivating, motion-rich designs that bring everything together with a stunning level of polish. This year, our CMS...
I liked that. I don't know whether you saw the text fade in with a slight blur. That was nice. I wouldn't even know where, off the top of my head, I wouldn't know how to do that within Elementor. It probably needs some custom CSS.
CMS has gotten some incredible upgrades. Our enhanced CMS now supports up to 100,000 items per collection. We've introduced CMS pagination, with infinite scrolling and load more options, making your content-heavy pages faster and more user-friendly. We also released helpful new...
Cool. So they're just talking, they're just recapping on the updates that have come, and these would have been, I guess, significant upgrades for them. So we've got the form, we've got the text effects, and now it's talking about pagination, which again I would have assumed would be there from the get-go. But I guess if they've been developing the CMS collection functionality, then this perhaps took a little bit longer to develop. But it's awesome that it's there. You can use it for blogs, portfolio items, any sort of, I guess, custom collection that you're looking to build within your website. You can now paginate it, which just allows you for more flexibility with your designs, I would say.
Styling options for rich text and images, making it fast and easy to create global styles for things like block quotes and inline images. Drafts for pages, CMS items, and locales are now available for pro and enterprise workspaces in Framer, letting team...
No, I haven't used this yet, so I haven't signed up to a specific account. I'm on the free one, so I'm not on a paid for plan, but that you can only, by the sounds of it, put things into draft if you're on a more premium account. I mean, I don't know if I like the sound of that. I like to be able to put things into draft no matter what account I'm on. But I mean, it could be a small problem.
Teams update their sites and keep works in progress private. With support for gradient masks, along with alpha and luminance masking, this recently added option opens up endless possibilities for unique and eye-catching designs. If you care about typography...
That was cool. Those visuals looked sick. And again, I wouldn't know off the top of my head how to actually achieve that in Elementor. And looking at their interface, it does look similar to Webflow in that your toolbars over on the right-hand side, and you have a lot of options to allow you to tweak specific things. But that masking, the gradients, that all looked really nice, really slick.
You care about OpenType, which is now supported in Framer, giving you access to so many important and powerful options like ligatures, stylistic alternates, contextual alternates, and much, much more. Plus, we've released additional features like text balance that help make your copy as beautiful as possible by eliminating things like ragged edges, widows, and orphan.
That is cool. As a designer, I spend a lot of my time when I'm trying to put things down on a canvas, trying to find the right balance with text, like what width should I place this text based on the amount of characters or words within the header, and then how do I achieve that same sort of balance with the paragraph? It's a skill, but the fact that you can just hit a button and it will do this for you, sweet. I like that.
Over the past few months, we've optimized Framer from the ground up with things like AVIF image support, significantly reducing file size without reducing quality. Animations now load 2.5 to 6 times faster. Projects in Framer load 30% faster. And we've started rendering your sites in ways no other tools can, with above-the-fold optimizations. Framer pre-renders your site on the server to determine what images should be prioritized and what can be lazy loaded, making initial load times up to 90% faster. The Framer Marketplace is a vibrant and growing collection of free and premium website templates, and we recently gave it a big upgrade with a new design, dedicated creator pages.
I don't know whether you've been to look at the Framer library yet, but there's a handful of really nice websites on there, and I think that a lot of the websites probably falling into a realm like that. Web design certainly feels like it has a style. There are trends, and I feel like Framer is following all of those current trends, and you can go and get some really smart looking templates in there. I've gone through the library myself a couple of times. Also a very good place for inspiration. Like even if you're not using Framer, I recommend going to look at the Framer library if you're looking for modern, visually good quality web design. Framer is a pretty cool place, so they're certainly putting a lot of work into the library, and you can see here that they rewarding creators. They are building a platform for creators to showcase the templates that they are producing, which As a web designer, I haven't even considered building out templates, but if you are a designer and you're looking to make some additional money aside from client work, this could be a very good option for you.
And on the back end, a completely new creator dashboard to handle analytics, template submission, and monetization. And there's a lot more to come throughout the rest of the year. Now, let's talk about education. With Framer Academy, we're creating the most comprehensive free Framer education anywhere on the internet. Let's hear a bit more about it from Joseph.
I'm going to skip over this bit. But what I will say about the education side of things is I've had a look at this because someone who's interested in perhaps exploring Framer, I didn't know where to go to learn more. And off the back of previously looking at Webflow's education section is insane. It's one of the most probably well built out, well structured, and most entertaining ways of teaching. If you like, I'd recommend just going to check it out anyway. But I hoped that Framer would have something similar, and it's not quite there yet. The lessons in there are fairly basic, and I've only seen a handful of them, and I need to give it more time because I'm hoping that it can really teach me how to use the platform, because I'm really intrigued by this. I want to see if I can replicate an existing project or an upcoming project I might take to Framer and see how that process goes. And if I do that, I will record the process. But I was disappointed with their education library. But this part of the video, as I'm just going to skip over it to speed this whole thing up, because we haven't even got into like the nuts and bolts of their announcement yet. I can see that they are about to put work in it, and I hope that this library grows in the future. And I think as this library grows and the education and the teaching improves within it, you're going to end up with more people migrating over to this platform, I imagine. So it does make sense for them. It is a smart move for them to improve this part of the business.
Yeah, we know you're excited, so let's talk about what's new and what we're releasing today.
This is it. This is the plugins.
Today we're launching Framer Plugins, a completely new ecosystem of tools to accelerate your design process, integrate with critical products, and make it easier than ever to accomplish even more with Framer sites. The Framer team and builders in the community have been hard at work on some incredibly useful plugins for you to start playing with and using right away. All discoverable from the Framer Marketplace in the brand new plugins section, as well as through the plugins menu in Framer. And right now, we're going to take a lightning tour through some of our favorite plugins to give you an idea of what's possible, starting with some new ways to use the Framer CMS that we think you're going to love. Let's take a look. The Notion plugin lets you sync your Notion databases with our CMS, making it super simple to blog in Notion and publish in Framer. If you don't use Notion, you can do the exact same thing with our Google Sheets plugin, importing content directly from your spreadsheets.
Interesting. Now, I'm a Notion user myself. I don't actually write blogs within Notion because I use WordPress, which was primarily a blogging tool, so I just write it directly in there. But actually, I can see the appeal here. Would I use Notion more if it fed directly into my website? Quite possibly. And so actually this is really smart that you can use Notion as your, essentially it becomes your blogging platform, and whatever you post in Notion will be directly fed to your site using the new Notion plugin. And as you can see, you can do the same with Google Sheets, which nice. I mean, it's pretty decent. I'd like to see some other ways in how this could be used, if there are any. But yeah, let's keep going.
And if you need to get data out of Framer, our CMS export plugin does just that, creating a handy CSV that you can use anywhere. Plugins create huge new opportunities in your design process as well. For example, the Blocks plugin unlocks hundreds of pre-made components, eliminating the need to manually build common design elements, letting you instead focus on bringing your full vision to life.
Nice. I feel like as a designer, I spend a lot of time recreating the same components, but just styling them ever so slightly. So the fact that you can just drag and drop what looked like pretty conventional layouts that the everyday designer is going to be using almost within every single project. That could be a huge time saver. So that certainly is interesting, and I think there are tools and plugins that you can use with WordPress and Elementor to do something similar, but I don't think it's perhaps as easy to edit things within Elementor in terms of the structure then perhaps it could be in here. I don't know. There's a lot of Elementor features that I do like, and there's ways that I can speed up the workflow with, copy and pasting elements. You can copy stuff from one site and paste it into another, which is super useful. But yeah, again, there's something here that I'm sat here watching this. I mean, honestly, this is the second time I'm watching this with you guys, and it's interesting me. It's getting my attention, and I'm kind of excited to see how this is going to continue to grow and how this is going to shift the industry and what this is going to do not only for like Webflow users, but what will this do for people using WordPress and Elementor? Are people there going to start jumping ship? Who knows?
Phosphor Icons gives you access to over 9,000 free-to-use, carefully crafted icons in a fast and helpful visual browsing experience.
Nice. No, Elementor does this. It hooks into, I think, the Font Awesome library. It said there that there's 9,000 icons to choose from, and it looks as if you could switch from different styles. I don't know at this point whether that's 9,000 split across the 4 different styles or whether it's 9,000 each style. But 9,000 is a lot, and the amount of time I've spent either trawling Font Awesome to get some very, I'd say, basic looking icons, or the amount of times I've gone through a stock library to download a library of icons, or I have gone through the process of custom designing them in Adobe Illustrator. If I could find a way to get some decent looking icons on a design, again, looks pretty cool. And let's not forget, these plugins, they're new. They're just announcing a couple of the ones that they're about to release.
Our ASCII plugin is perfect for adding some unique wow factor to your designs, and we know you're going to love experimenting with it. And we've got more playful visual plugins like Doodles, which works like a pencil tool, letting you draw anything and insert it right on the canvas. And Dither, for adding a variety of dithering effects to your images, bringing back a retro feel for your modern sites. Plugins also make bringing advanced animations into your site faster and easier. The Rive plugin brings your sites to life in new ways with incredible, powerful, and interactive animations. And Lottie
That's sick. That's really cool.
Files allows you to create, edit, and insert Lottie animations directly in Framer, giving you blazing fast, high-quality, complex animations. And
That's cool as well. I'd be interested to see what the limitations are on that, or whether you have to pay individually or pay a subscription to have access to those Lottie files. But we'll see.
Plugins are incredibly powerful when it comes to publishing, analytics, and gated content. Google Search Console lets you quickly set up and view your search data to see if your pages got indexed or discover and correct potential errors that could hurt your SEO.
Nice. That's pretty cool. I'm sure there is a way to do that with WordPress, and actually that's not something I do myself. I always end up going directly into Search Console and looking for errors and fixing them that way. But if this is saying that we can kind of pull that into Framer and take care of all of these things directly within a website, and you don't have to, go to a separate environment, open up another tab, load Search Console, and work in 2 separate environments. So looks like it's just improving workflow.
The HubSpot plugin is great for embedding HubSpot forms and implementing advanced tracking, widgets, events, and more. And for those looking to add membership features to their sites, Framer Auth provides a no-code solution for creating members-only content right in Framer. Plugin.
Nice. No, I haven't had to personally myself build many sites with authentication or things being locked behind a login screen, but the fact that you'd be able to do that now, that's going to open up a lot more opportunity for people already using Framer, and potentially customers coming to them wanting a specific solution that Framer once wasn't able to provide for them. This is why, in my opinion, WordPress is still up there as the most used website CMS platform. And the reasons for it is it's open source. You're fully free to kind of develop it in the way that you want. And it has an incredible library of plugins and an incredible community. So I think, if I've got this right, Framer is probably going down the route of trying to build that community and the plugin aspect that perhaps WordPress has, but taking the simplicity and the design capabilities that perhaps exist with the likes of Webflow and other similar tools. There's some really cool stuff here.
Plugins can also make tedious parts of the design process less painful. Renamer lets you batch rename layers on your canvas in one fell swoop, saving you time and keeping your work consistent. Tidy Up can help make large projects more manageable when you have lots of frames on your canvas. All of these plugins and many more are available to start using today. You can learn more about them and install them right from the brand new plugins section of the Framer Marketplace. And if you want to get started building your own plugins, that's easy too. Just head to framer.com/developers to check out the documentation and start building. Plugins are opening up a whole new world for the Framer experience, and we're super excited for you to start using them. But that's not all the excitement we have in store for today. We're also releasing something very special and highly requested.
Cool. So that summarizes plugins, and I'm sure you can agree there's a couple of things in there that look like Framer could start becoming a really exciting tool to explore, look into, maybe even start using yourself. But at the moment, it's not there. It doesn't yet match or rival WordPress, I don't think, but it's certainly growing. It's certainly, as I started the video, I think I used the word, it's making noise. Okay.
Let's take a closer look with Joseph.
We're super excited to introduce CMS Collection References, a powerful new set of features to grab items.
So if you don't know what a collection is, just think of it, if you're a WordPress user, just think of it as a custom post type. Okay, it's a custom database, a collection of data. So be it, if it was blog posts, for example, that would be a clear representation of a CMS reference or CMS collection. So they're essentially talking about the database functionality here, and it will become a lot clearer once you start seeing how this works.
Items from one CMS collection directly from another and pass all the right content into your designs. So many of you have been waiting for this, and we think you're going to love what it unlocks for your sites while remaining super easy to use. Let's take a look at how easy it is to set up a basic CMS reference with a simple example based on our built-in sample blog, which we've freshly updated with reference fields that you can play with right away. Our primary CMS collection would be the blog posts themselves, but within each blog post, we need to reference who the author is. In the past, we'd have to create a field to either manually type the name of the author or choose one from an option dropdown.
I can see why that would be a pain in the ass.
But what about each author's avatar image, their location, perhaps even a bio? We would have to manually add each piece of data to each blog post.
That's exactly why it would be a pain in the ass.
Not very efficient. And God forbid we need to update an author's information across tens or hundreds of blog posts. This is where CMS references come in. All we need to do is set up another CMS collection for our authors, where each collection item contains all of the information we might need for each author. Now, from our blog post collection, rather than adding a plain text field or an option field, we can choose to add a reference field and choose which collection we want to pull from. In this case, authors. Now, our reference field lets us choose from any of the items in the authors collection. Here, it may look like we're just pulling in the name, but we're actually now hooked into all of the content within this CMS item. In fact, we've also added an edit button to jump directly to the reference item in its own respective collection.
So outside of the way that they're delivering this, on the top of my head at the moment, I can't see another use case for something like this. But what I am interested in is a CMS collection opportunities around the way that I currently have built my own agency website, in that I have custom post types for custom post type for services. So take web design, and then within the web design custom post type, I have a list of locations. it feeds off a template and then the location is injected dynamically into the content. I haven't been able to do this in any other platform. I tried to do it in Webflow, it didn't work, which is why I never moved over. But if I could do that in this, that could be cool. So that's probably certainly one of the first things I'm going to look at doing with this new CMS update.
All right, now let's look at how easy it is to display this content in our designs. On this page, we have a collection list for our blog posts, where selecting the first item now shows a handy new plus button to add content from any field in this collection, which now includes any reference fields. In our case, the reference field is authors. And when I hover over it, I see all of the fields nested within that collection. I'll choose name, then head back for the avatar. And bam, we're grabbing content from the authors collection based on what's referenced in the articles collection, which also means that any changes made in the authors collection will automatically propagate to every single article that references it.
So if you are using this, it's going to make your life a hell of a lot easier. Like you said earlier, the way that they would previously have to do this is by creating, I think, a bunch of repetitive fields within one single CMS collection to reference the likes of an author. So you could end up with an authors collection, but still have to create author fields within your CMS collection for say, blogs or events or whatever it might be.
Game changer. We've also added a new multi-reference field for those situations where you want to display several items from a reference collection, like categories, tags, contributors, or in this case, some specific list items. Now, when we have a collection list on a page, we can filter down to show only the items included in the multi-reference field. And to save you a few steps, dropping in a referenced collection from the insert panel will add these filters automatically. You can also nest references.
So if you've not looked at Framer yet, just seeing how simple that was to drag and drop bits and pieces into the canvas, just like you were using Figma or just like you were using Adobe XD. This is why it's appealing to me, because I think it could massively speed up the workflow.
Is as many levels deep as you'd like. For example, here I've got a meetups collection, multi-referencing from a collection of hosts, but then each host is referencing a collection of cities.
So maybe you're looking at this and thinking, oh, what the UI, the interface looks crazy. But myself, coming from having played a fair bit around with Webflow, this is looking very much like Webflow in terms of the editing the CMS collection within Webflow. It looks very similar to how they do it in Framer.
And in our design, we're able to pull all of the matching content up the chain and into our design. You can create as many CMS references as you need to get the job done without having to worry about hitting any limits. So go crazy. We can't wait to see what you build. Now, back over to Andy.
So we have plugins to open up an entirely new set of experiences and possibilities within Framer, with huge implications for designers and developers alike. We have CMS references, providing deeply dynamic capabilities within our constantly improving CMS. And we've got one last thing. This year, we're taking the Framer Site of the Year Awards to new heights.
Cool. I'm going to stop it there. But this is just essentially saying that if you are going to create Framer templates and enter them into the Framer Awards, you're going to win larger prizes. I think it was up to $100,000, which is an insane amount of money as a prize, to be honest. So, I mean, the second time I've watched that, and I think it's awesome. I think it's caught my attention. Now, am I going to jump ship from WordPress and Elementor and start using Framer? At the moment, probably not. I don't think it's quite there yet, but I am certainly going to give it more of my attention and more of my time. I want to go in and see what are these capabilities like? How easy is it for me to physically design and launch a website? Is that workflow quicker? How difficult is it going to be for me to potentially migrate? Because as I said at the beginning, when I used this platform originally, it felt clunky, it felt too simplistic, and I didn't know what I was doing. And so this is why I think it's important to have the education library. Maybe I need to invest a little bit more time in that. But it's caught my attention, and I think as web designers, it is important to just keep an eye on what's happening in the space, the new tools and opportunities emerging. I do remember back when I first started web design, I was using WordPress, I was hard coding WordPress themes, and I refused to jump on the no-code bandwagon. Okay, I thought that no-code wasn't going to take off. I thought it was stupid, and I was completely wrong. And now I don't look back. I think no-code was incredible, and it's really helped me speed up the workflow. And within business, if you can achieve the same or even better results in a shorter amount of time, it's an absolute no-brainer. So that's how I will be looking at Framer, is what can this do for my business? Can I produce better website designs? Can I produce similar quality website designs but in a fraction of the time? What are the limitations? All of these things, that's how I'll be approaching Framer. And this is a different type of content than what I usually put out. But I saw the announcement yesterday. A couple of other YouTubers have already spoken about this. And so, yeah, it looks interesting, as I keep saying. But I hope you enjoy the content. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on Framer. Let me know if you've used it in the past. I'm super curious. And yeah, if I do look to explore this in more detail, maybe I'll record the process and I'll share that. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. If you've enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. And yeah, there's an end screen with another video popping up for you to go and look at. More than likely Elementor based, or it's going to be how to improve your web design business. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.